On Tuesday, KZI9 News will join with the Oregon Urology Foundation for a second annual free prostate cancer screening clinic that will be held at the Valley River Center Mall parking lot.
We're calling it Project Zero because the goal nationally is to drastically reduce the number of cases of prostate cancer, the most common cancer among men, and the most treatable. Last year, hundreds of men of a certain age braved the heat and the crowds to be checked for prostate cancer. And a good thing, too. Several showed symptoms, and a handful were later diagnosed with full-on cancer in one form or another. Screening clinics like these are vital because prostate cancer is highly treatable when caught early.
Screening does, in fact, save lives and reduce the rate of patients who show up with cancer that is spread outside of their prostate, in which case we have much more limited options for treatment overall. You got the last one?
Dr. Jeff Woolsey is a physician at the Oregon Urology Institute. And like so many others in the field, he's the first to acknowledge that part of the problem with treatment is that the testing isn't something you want to discuss in polite company, let alone on TV.
As urologists, we tend to have a bit of a sense of humor about it because we're doing this all day long. We're not as excited to do this. The guys are not excited to be here. It's something that we all do and something that we think is important. That's why we do it.
The test involves a blood draw and what's known simply as a digital rectal exam. The doctor is looking to see how large the prostate is relative to a normal one.
So just how big is a man's prostate? Well, clearly it's not this big, more like this big.
But sometimes prostate cancer can grow quickly, which is why it's so vital for men over the age of 45 to be checked at least once a year. Men like Roscoe Wright.
I get tested at least once a year with my PSA levels. It's a blood test and a urine test. And my dad told me to get it done twice a year. But the doctors always say once a year. So I don't know, it seems to me it ought to be twice.
Wright has good reason to worry. His father and his grandfather both died of prostate cancer.
Apparently, if we all live long enough, all males would die of prostate cancer. I was told that, you know. So if you make it through all the other things that people, normal causes of eventually in the later years, but this is the one that got my dad and his dad. So I'm just told to watch for it.
The research into the causes of prostate cancer continues, and Dr. Woolsey says there's a good reason why it should.
Nationwide, the trend for prostate cancer is a very slow increase overall, unrelated to screening. Not entirely sure why there's been a slight increase overall. That's part of the current research.
Meanwhile, there are guys like Roscoe Wright who look at it in very practical terms. You treat your body like your car and get a regular checkup.
Sure, you get checked, and if it's good, you're good. And if it's not, then you know early, and that's the whole idea, is to know early.
And a reminder, if you're a man in need of a free prostate exam, the clinic will run Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 to 6, at Valley River Center Mall in the parking lot. The clinic is free. Now, we don't know how many will show up, so it might be a good idea to take something to read.